All right, everyone. Welcome to today's session of the K-12 Blackboard Innovative Teaching Series. My name is Katie Gallagher. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for our Teaching and Learning line of business. Very happy you're able to join us today. With me today, I actually have Sarah Tomczak from our field marketing team helping out in the chat with taking attendance as well. So thank you, Sarah, for joining us today. Each session in the series is recorded. You can catch those sessions on our Blackboard TV YouTube channel, or you can go to our community site, which we invite you each to join to view those recordings. We'd also like to take the opportunity on our final Spring BETH series session to invite you once again to BB World 2016. We'll be meeting in Vegas this summer from July 12th to the 14th. On July 12th, for our K-12 attendees, we have a special workshop that's free of any additional cost to you on implementing blended learning across the district. So we hope you can join us for the entire BB World Conference, including a half-day pre-conference workshop on the morning of July 12th. As you can see, today is our final session in the spring series. We've got the team from Metro Nashville Public Schools, including Michelle Newcomb, Julie Ruth, Emily Workman, and I believe Mary Beth Holley is unfortunately sick today, but we have the whole group representing Metro Nashville Public Schools joining us to share the effective use of assessments in English language arts today. So we're really pleased to welcome the group, and I'm going to allow each member of the group to introduce themselves as we jump into the presentation. So with that, I'll hand it over to your group, Michelle, and thank you very much.
Thank you. We're happy to be here. I'm Michelle Newcomb. I am a U.S. history teacher and blended learning coach at Overton High School. This is my 22nd year of teaching, but only the 4th year in high school. So I am a big Blackboard advocate, and my colleagues here are just like the crazy English ladies, we call them at Overton High. They are willing to do just about anything. They are always up for a challenge, and it's so much fun to work with them. I'm going to go ahead and take Mary Beth Holley's introduction as well. She is just she's got herself a terrible spring cold, and I don't think she can talk. So it's just as well. She is an English language arts teacher here, and she does, junior and senior? Is that right? And she's fabulous, and I'm really sorry she's not here because she's so much fun.
And I'm Julie Ruth, and this is my 18th year of teaching high school English, my 3rd year in Metro. And this year I teach English 2 as an inclusion with a special ed teacher, co-teacher. But I've taught just about every grade, I think every level.
And my name is Emily Workman, and this is my 15th year to teach, only my 2nd year in high school, in a public high school. I taught for 13 years in a middle school, a private school here in Nashville, where I was also a middle school principal for 5 years and director of professional development during that time too. And I have also taught adjunct courses at a local university that used Blackboard. So this really is what sparked my desire to put Blackboard in my classroom, is to get the seniors ready to move on to college.
And so we're up, and
okay.
Here we go. Since Mary Beth isn't here, this is Michelle again, and I'm going to go ahead and take this for her. And she and I worked very, very closely together and on very limited Blackboard use. What you should know about, and Mary Beth could tell you this if she was here, she's absolutely terrified of trying to use technology other than the things that she's very adept at using the gradebook. She's very adept at taking attendance. And as she says, I'm just terrified of trying other things, and I'm very, very slow to pick it up. I have to do it over and over before I can get to where I need to be. And I said, well, then let's just start simply. She never had used Blackboard before, which is not the case with the rest of us, and it was completely new to her and rather confusing. But what she has decided to do I'm sorry. Let me just, yeah. You guys go ahead and do your tech stuff.
Well, and I think I represent sort of the middle of the road. I had used Blackboard when I taught a class at University of Alaska for a semester in a composition class, but they didn't even use it that much. And so I do love trying new technology in the classroom, and I'm comfortable with trying anything anyone shows me, but I get busy and I don't like looking for it on my own. And so if it integrates, like I said, if it integrates seamlessly, if it's easy to bring in, then I'll do it. And that's what's been great about Michelle, is that she's definitely been able to coach me through it when I don't want to deal with taking my own time to do it. I'm like, I don't have time, I'm too busy grading. And she's helped me integrate those.
And then, like I said, for me is after teaching the courses at the university level, they rely so much on Blackboard that I just was aware that our students did not have that knowledge and that experience. And so it was a disservice to us to send them off without at least exposing them to the Blackboard environment.
I agree. My daughter went to Western Kentucky, and no one there knew how to use it. And when she sat in the student center doing an assignment on Blackboard, she ended up with a crowd and being a tutor and teaching them. And I think that when I read what you wrote there, Workman, I thought, wow, yeah, that's so true, because they really are going to be exposed to something. And if they can master Blackboard, then they can master the others as well. So we'll start with me doing Mary Beth. Mary Beth was like, yeah, Michelle, I'm not real sure about this whole online learning thing. I am so not a techie. And I said, you know what? You don't have to be. You just have to be a teacher who needs to save some time. And she said, time? Yeah, time I can do. I need that. And I said, well, look, this is just one way to do it. And I said, I know that you give tests, and I know that you're doing some multiple choice because that's where the standardized test is, and I know that you're grading it by hand because I've been there. And I said, you don't have to do that anymore, and you can open this up so the kids can do this. You can save yourself frustration with makeup testing or retesting. It's so simple. And she said, okay, show me how. I dare you, because if you can get me to do this. And so I did. Mary Beth uses paper tests. She just puts a paper test in front of her kids like she always would. She's got a file cabinet full of them. But what she did instead of handing out answer sheets was to go into Blackboard and put the answer sheet, the answer key into Blackboard. Really, really simple. Really simple. Oh, hey, look, we're getting comments. Woohoo! Well, saving time, Katie, saving time is totally, gosh. If there's one thing that's precious, more precious than gold, it's time at this point. And yeah, we have lots of levels, don't we, Tish? At any rate, here is, the students will see, this is the student view when they're taking a test. I've set it up to put all of the questions on one page just so you can see. You also can see that you have like a mixed bag of multiple choice, short answer, essay, whatever you want. The short answers are graded automatically. And the essays you can go through and grade at your leisure. They are in the cloud. They are available at all times, freeing you up to do what you need to do. And with very, very little learning curve. It's really, really simple. This is probably the simplest assessment that you can put onto Blackboard. Is just use the test that you already have made and just literally putting the answer key into Blackboard and having the kids look on the paper and answer on the computer. Very, very simple. But she did it, and I think she said she ran 3 or 4 of those, and she loved it, and she was like, I can't believe this. This is fantastic. I'm not having to grade this. I'm not carrying home buckets of paper. We love that. We love that. That's how you sell it. If you want to sell it to somebody, you sell it with the idea of, wow, look how much time, energy, and trouble you can save yourself. So it's worked pretty good for Mary Beth. I wish she was here to talk about it herself because she's so much funnier than I am. But she has really come a long way for her, and she is just wonderful. And her Blackboard page, am I wrong? It looks really pretty. She had all the green and blue. We taught her how to decorate her Blackboard page too. So With that in mind, next year we're going to move forward, and she's going to get into rubrics and such, like you guys are, and we're going to teach her how to do that too, because now she's mastered this, and we'll move on. There you go. The objective questions are graded. The written answers are graded by the teacher, and it's been working out really, really well. There you go, Julie.
Okay. I've also used the test, putting the entire test. We did our semester exam on there, and it was so much easier and more convenient to have it graded, and I didn't have to bring home the pile of papers. But one of the things that I've used mostly this year is essays and rubrics. Basically, because it is a fairly low-level class that I've got this year, and I have a co-teacher, a special ed co-teacher, one of the things that we noticed right away is that we have to scaffold, and we have to do little bites of essays. And, you know, if we assign an entire essay, oh, you're silly. If we assigned an entire essay, they would sit there and not do it, you know, and it became just such drudgery that we decided that the best way to do it is one paragraph at a time. And so I just make a separate assignment for each paragraph, and I think that's maybe the next one. Yeah, go ahead. Let me see what it says. Yeah, so here's the argument essay that they're doing, and so you have body paragraph 1, 2, you can't read that very well, and then we do a counterclaim and rebuttal paragraph, and then it just continues on. We do the intro. Actually, I do the intro after the body paragraphs. They have a working thesis, but I don't think they should write the introduction at all until they've got all the bodies done. And so, you know, they just focus on one little thing at a time. And so each, let's see, yeah, and I know that's hard to see, but each paragraph has its own rubric, and it's super quick to click through and get them graded. I can add feedback to each section. There's a little section when you grade it, you know, for feedback. And my kids, it makes it a lot faster for me to grade. And then at our school, you know, they can revise, they can do retakes and stuff, so they get their feedback. And they're even, and in a way, I thought this was going to be overwhelming for me, because I have some kids who start doing body 1 revisions as I'm even still grading their counterclaims, I guess, other paragraphs. And at first I thought it was going to be overwhelming, but it actually really is not, because it keeps up with each attempt. So if they attempt it again, it already shows me what I've graded before, and I can just fix what they're working on, like the specific part that they're revising. So at first I thought I would be overwhelmed by, oh, I have 150 paragraphs to grade, but it's a lot faster than that, way faster than the pile of papers I used to bring home. Yeah, there's another one, just all the different, this is the whole setup.
That's an essay.
Yeah, so what they do is we do each individual chunk, basically, of the paragraphs, and they get separate grades for that. And then at the very end, they put it all together, and so they get another grade for double spacing, for, you know, MLA format. And so it has to have a title, it has to have, you know, your name and the date and all that good stuff at the top. And so everything looks pretty together, and I can look at it as a whole, and then that's another grade. And so it's pretty overwhelming if they decide not to do it, because because their grade tanks if they get zeros on every one of those. Ms. Turner, I have seen better writing. Yeah, my kids, like I said, with a lot of children with learning disabilities, you know, they just won't produce enough. And so it seems kind of structured, you know, it's not overly structured to me though at all. Like, it totally keeps them on task. They know exactly what's expected. They know they have one class to do this, and then the next class they have to say revise or, you know, anything like that. You can keep it on a real structured level. And if they're absent, they know exactly where to go, you know, to find what they need, their next assignment. And so I was out of town. I had to miss Thursday and Friday last week, and I was grading their essays, you know, the paragraphs as they were coming in. So yeah, it was fantastic. And I have seen a lot of improvement from the fall to now with some of my writers. So it's been great. Yeah.
All right. Workman.
So in my junior and senior English class, I also have several kids that are special ed kids. My juniors, I have a class with a large population of kids with IEPs, and I also have a co-teacher in that class. And so I use the essays and the rubrics just like Julie did, and that I broke it up so that they turned it in a piece at a time. I loved it because it wasn't overwhelming for me. I could sit and watch, Scandal or whatever, and still and grade them and not worry about it. And it's not overwhelming for me. And the kids, it was neat when they put all the pieces together at the end like a puzzle. All of a sudden they're like, this wasn't hard. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want them to leave here with a fear of writing. And they learned that when you take it a piece at a time, it's doable. Another thing that I did.
Yes, go for it, Katie.
Another thing that I've done too is I've used the test like multiple choice, essay, things like that for exams and such. I really like doing that because my junior classes I have one class with 35 kids, one class with 31. And when you have the multiple choice questions, you can choose for it to give to randomize the questions. So even though I've got 35 kids, they're all on different questions. And so they're not cheating off of each other.
I'll interject here just for a second, because I do a lot of multiple choice testing because Tennessee Ready Social Studies is multiple choice in large part. And if you're going to go over the answers with them, don't randomize them. Just trust me, it's so bad. It's so hard to do. But when it is a summative, the midterm, the final, and the ones that they're going to want to cheat on, that's when I go for the random everything.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous.
Very good. I also like how they can work on their own assignments. This spring, because of all kinds of stuff going on here at school, we were very limited with several days. And so my senior class, it got to where this last time I was only going to see them about 6 times before the seniors were gone, and I still had a lot of assignments that I needed to get done. So I just put them on Blackboard and let them work on their own time frame, and I gave them the due date. It's very college ready, and said, you've got to get these done by April 27th, and they all did. And so they had to work at their own rate to get it done. And some of them finished the first day, and some of them it was 11:58 to get it turned in, but they still did it. And I liked that. I could get them graded and into the grade book on their own time. I've used a flipped classroom. I haven't videoed myself, but I have put like links to YouTube videos I want them to watch and reflect on and things like that, and it's great. The one that I have really used a lot, Julie hasn't used it for her special ed class, but I've used it in mine, is the adaptive release. And I've got the instructions on there as to how to do adaptive release, and we don't have to go through all that because that'll be in the PDF that anyone can get to. But the adaptive release is that you can choose which kids get which kind of test. I have been and my co-teacher and I have been very,
there we go.
Yes. Yeah. We have been very, I can't think of the word I want to say, guarded in making sure that our IEP kids don't know that the other kids know that they have an IEP. Everybody in the class is just there. We've set it up at the beginning that the co-teacher is there. She's good for strategy. I'm there for content. And they've never questioned it. And so I didn't want to put a modified test on there and say modified and then tell which kids you've got to take the modified test in front of everyone. And so the adaptive release allows you to choose which kids get which test, and it doesn't then show up on another kid's. So that was something that I really liked, and I had used it many times. So if you wanted to do that, you could go into down at the bottom. Can you go back one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you go down onto the side of Blackboard, and it'll say the users and groups, and click on that and click groups, and then it's going to take you to a page that allows you. Right now yours will be empty because I've already created my groups, and that's why group A and group B are there. So you would then go to click create and go down to manual enroll, and you can choose which kids go into which group. And so I And then so it'll take you and it'll say you choose a name. I just chose group A, group B, group C kind of thing because the kids see what group they're in. You don't want to put IEP group, because then they would know. So
it's defeating the purpose of the entire
it is defeating the purpose, exactly. So therefore, if you just name it that way, and then you'll have to scroll down, choose and go membership, and click on add users, and that box in the middle is covering their names. But then you just go through and click which ones that you want, hit submit, and then they're going to show up in that group. And so that's how simple it is to create a group. Then to assign them to a test, what you're going to do is you're going to go back into the test, and when you click on that little arrow to edit the test options, you go down to adaptive release, and then you're going to come down and you're going to click which group you want to have that test. It is as simple as that. And when Michelle showed it to me the first time, I was so overwhelmed. But then once I ran through it a couple times, I was like, oh, this is easy. I can do this, no big deal. And so it's as simple as that. So you can do the modified test for your special ed kids. You can also have 2 different exams if you want. And, one group takes one and one group takes the other. And go one more. I think that if you'll see here, I've got a picture of what the grade center looks like. If you look over on the far right, this is what my midterm was. I gave them the midterm essay. Everybody had the same essay. Everybody had the same grammar. But then you've got the crucible there. You've got a group of kids that you have blanks. And it's like one group had the modified test, one group had the regular test. And so it doesn't show up as a missing assignment. It's just that they didn't take that one. And then you can take them, and I've downloaded all the numbers into Excel and create a formula in Excel, and it adds them up for me quick. And I just put them into our grade speed, and it's as simple as that.
That's so awesome.
And I love it, and I plan to use it more next year after I can play with it a lot this summer.
There you go. All right. Well, you know what? This is so much fun, you guys. I didn't even know about that last little part there, Workman. I've been out of touch for a while, I guess. Okay. And if anyone has any questions, we're totally ready to talk about using the assessment tools of Blackboard for sure. I'm not hearing anything. Am I supposed to be? Okay, just in case, I'm not hearing anything.
Sorry, guys. I didn't have my mic on. Yeah, we would like to open it for any additional questions that anyone on has had. I have loved this session. I mean, Sarah, during it, like, I've got to play this immediately when we close the session to capture all the quotes from you ladies. This has been wonderful. But Melissa, Barbara, what's that?
I told you that was English ladies. I think I said that to you at some point. The crazy English ladies are doing.
And you're clearly having so much presenting too. So, Barbara, Angelique, and Melissa, Tashawn, does anyone have questions for the group? I know this has been a great session to close the spring series with.
Making it easy. I know.
All right. Yeah, lots of great comments in the chat. Let me just thank our presenters today for a great and fun, enthusiastic session. We really appreciate it, and hope that you will all consider joining us in Vegas this summer. We are really trying to create the best program ever for Key 12 and have lots of exciting things planned and great sessions. We'd love for you to participate. The best part of the conference is really networking with other passionate Key 12 educators who want to make learning more fun and engaging for students while saving time and making work more efficient and exciting for teachers as well. So love that you were able to take time out. We know May is a difficult time for educators with exams and end of year assessments and so forth. So we really appreciate this fantastic session. So with that, we'll say thank you. And, of course, if there are any additional questions, everyone stay on. But you get a little bit of time back in your day if there aren't additional questions.
One more
Sarah,
thing.
Sarah, do you have something to add?
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Awesome.
good point. Yes, I'm glad you said that. We did mention this last week, but we have, last week it was open for nominations. Sarah, are the nominations still open? I know the voting begins on Wednesday, but we have a contest going on right now for Teacher Appreciation Month. Teacher Appreciation Week was last week. So voting for the nominations that we mentioned on BITS last week will begin, I think, on the 12th. I think on Wednesday. So check out the contest and be sure to participate. Thanks for reminding me of that, Sarah.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Katie.